Hey, folks, welcome to Affiliate Nerd Out. I am your Nerderator, Dustin House, spreading that good word about affiliate marketing. You're going to find me every Thursday here at 12:15 on LinkedIn or YouTube, so come and put it on your calendar and join me and my guest. My guest today, Anika Gupta. Did I pronounce that right? I'm so sorry.
You did. Yeah, that's great, Dustin.
Fantastic. And she is with Everpilot, and she's coming to hang out and talk about AI in the affiliate world. Thanks for joining us in the Nerdatorium today, Anika.
Absolutely. I am thrilled to be in the Nerdatorium, Dustin. I also love the term Nerdatorium. So,
It is a coined phrase that I created just last year. So excited to have you here. If you would like to be in Anika's seat, come be my guest. Go to dustinhouse.com/nerd and drop a submission for a topic that you want to nerd out about. But while we have you, Anika, tell me, who are you?
I'm thrilled to tell you who I am, Dustin. So, I work with Everpilot, like you said. I found myself in marketing and affiliate marketing via a very circuitous path. So,
Okay.
I started my career as a journalist several years ago. Journalism and communications and storytelling were my jam. I worked as a journalist in many places, covered science and tech, eventually got tempted to move over to the science and tech space myself, started working with digital startups. And that's when I really came across the company that now became Everpilot. And in our initial research, we were looking at really interesting opportunities. So, we became really fascinated by the space, and that's how I ended up in affiliate marketing. But I am a storyteller by trade. That's what I love.
Okay, I didn't realize that about you. You're just been our relationship together, you've just been so polished as like a manager of affiliates or partners. And I thought you've been in this industry for a very long time. I'm surprised to hear that you're a storyteller, but it all makes sense now that you say it. It's been a pleasure working with you over the last couple of months. I have uh, yeah, you reached out for me to test this pilot when it was in beta, and I was really impressed by it and gave you guys lots of feedback, and you took that feedback and ran with it. I'm excited that you guys are now launching here shortly.
hmm Yeah, it's been amazing, Dustin. Your suggestions and feedback and just introduction to this world of affiliate and ideas and insights invaluable. So, I really feel like being on the podcast is coming like this amazing full circle from like when we first connected over Slack.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell us about Everpilot. What do you guys do over there and who you're serving?
Yeah, so we call ourselves an influencer creator discovery and management platform.
Okay.
We are just launching, yeah, so we're very excited about that. And right now, the key thing that we're doing and we're really excited about is when you come in as the manager of a brand, we want to save you time. So you come in, you give us a little bit of information about the kind of campaign you're running, the people you're looking for, and we actually do a really deep dive. We take your information and criteria, we assemble a nuanced profile, and we use that to do deep searches to pull back really the names of creators, some of whom you may have met, some of whom you may never have met, but who are awesome for you, who match you on those detailed parameters. And we give you that list so you can take action on it. So the idea is you save that time. We're giving you really detailed information about each of these folks. We'll tell you as an affiliate whom else they work with. We'll give you examples of their posts. We'll give you the opportunity to dive deep if you want to build a longer and larger relationship with them and look at stuff like, hey, have they ever said anything that might be sensitive? What sort of themes are in their content? How often do they post? So the idea is really to create this like proactive helper for you as an affiliate manager, bringing the best people to you. And
That
I guess
is
part
awesome.
of yeah, is who do you serve? So we're working with folks who are really looking to create these lists, and it's been we really want to help independent practitioners, small to medium
Okay.
sized agencies. Those are some of the folks we've been really like happy to work with in the beta program as well. And the idea is you may have multiple brands. You can set up all of them in Everpilot. We'll run those searches, and we'll give you back those results, and you can keep on kind of while that's happening in the background, growing your business. So that's our goal.
Excellent. And I think you guys are succeeding in that goal. I am constantly looking for the best tools that are going to save me time out there as an affiliate manager, and you guys check that box for sure. You've helped me find numerous influencers for the brands that I'm recruiting for over at inflection. And I love what you guys are doing. So thank you for making this tool and making my life easier through a day-to-day process. So our topic of the day is all about AI and the AI boom and partnerships, limitations and opportunities that we're facing. I feel like this AI boom is a very big thing that has happened in the last 2 to 3 years in the partnership world. And I think it's covered marketing a lot better than it has in affiliate and partnerships. But it is absolutely, we are in the space right now in the infancy, and I love being a part of it. So, you have been part of this AI boom since you've been working with this company, probably beforehand. Tell me what this AI boom is.
Oh gosh, Dustin. I mean, I think when I think of the AI boom, I really think of the ways in which generative AI tools have entered the public consciousness. And then through that, we've opened the gate to really thinking about how AI can transform not just consumer software and experiences, but also like a lot of our business processes and workflows. And that second area, the business processes and workflows, are where a lot of the really interesting work is happening right now. So you have a ton of different people out there doing everything from research to create great models to applying those models in really interesting ways across a variety of industries to creating tools for individuals like you and me to do everything from like, generate content for social media to just send fun stuff to friends. So I would say it is affecting, every area, every business. I think most of us at this point can say that we've tried some of these tools ourselves. Sometimes with great results, sometimes with challenging results. And of course, alongside that, we've seen a lot of discussions around like how people are using AI generated materials and content, and not just the opportunities but the challenges. So I think it's been transformative, frankly, of all, for anyone kind of whose work even remotely touches technology, but even if it doesn't.
Yes, absolutely. And um, I've always said that the AI situation in partnerships is, if you're not utilizing AI tools, then you're falling behind in this industry. Like there's just so
Mhm.
much I use throughout a daily basis and in automation format that is helping me save time so I can get to the tasks that I really want to do and like to do. And the tasks that are very specific to affiliate management of like building the relationships and partnerships is truly where I want to spend my time, and anything that helps me get to more of that is where I want to be.
Yeah.
Um, Tell me, maybe take us through some of the advantages of AI, and what are they that, I just spoke about what I'm using it for, but what else can we use AI for?
Well, when I think specifically about kind of this partnerships world, I think there are a couple areas that really come to mind. I can definitely speak to some of the ways we're thinking about using AI at
Mm,
Everpilot, and where I think that's been helpful. So I think the first, of course, is this opportunity to really understand and digest information at scale. So I think one of the things that I mentioned is, over at Everpilot, we take in a brand's information and we build these profiles and we match, creators to that. And I think both that part where we can take in that brand information and really create like, a series of recommendations around it and a profile we can react to. I think that's where AI is incredibly helpful. And then also in terms of just pulling out a lot of information, looking across the internet, looking at creators, understanding really quickly what they're all about, being able to summarize what they're doing, look at a variety of content. I mean, you and I both know, Dustin, if you're looking as a human at an individual's, let's say, Instagram profile, it can take hours to sometimes really go back, get a sense of what that person is about, look at their posts, watch their videos. And one of the things we can do now is we can assemble a really detailed summary or profile of that person really quickly using AI. And then we can match that against, a profile that already exists. So I think it's just that ability to really not just pull in information, but really analyze it and then be able to take action on it. That's really interesting and compelling. So I think that's one of the areas and opportunities we're really interested in. I think you're probably using AI in a variety of different ways. There's the you mentioned the automation, you mentioned the creation of like I know people on the creative side are using it to help generate creative, and we kind of start at Everpilot we're doing a little bit of that. in trying to help people build partnerships. So we were kind of thinking about like, okay, what can we create for others that's really helpful beyond these detailed summaries and matches? And so we'll try and suggest for each influencer, we'll try and suggest based on that influencer's content, just a few messages or ways you can reach out to them and really touch on the themes in their content. So we give you those messages alongside. So that's one of the ways in which we're kind of generating messaging and working with folks. So those are some of the really interesting things that I think we're able to do just right out the gate.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've been an early adapter to AI. I feel like I used it probably 6 years ago, and that doesn't feel like that long ago, but it really is in this industry. And the first thing I used it for is trying to expedite my network of people that I'm working with. So I used a myriad of different AI tools on LinkedIn to build up my network to where I am today at 13,000 connections and followers. And that's been extremely helpful for me for when I want to reach an audience or reach out to other affiliate managers and help them out. But one thing that has come a long way, I've noticed, is photos. I finally found a photo generator that is actually makes me look somewhat similar to who I am, and like you
Yeah.
put prompts in and do whatever you want. This
Yeah.
is my guilty pleasure of making pictures like this for jokes and for like blog posts of like things that I'm not naturally in. But I love that AI aspect, and so you don't have to use AI just for everything personal
Hmm.
or like professional necessarily. It helps, but like there's a lot of ways to play around with it on your personal life too.
There is, I mean, absolutely fun and creativity, right? Like I'm an avid in my other side of my life, I'm an avid gamer.
Oh
And
yeah.
oh my gosh, it's been a game changer. You can create images of like the characters you're playing, the stories you tell. Oh yeah, there's so many ways. Yeah, super fun. I mean, and images like that, Dustin, just that clearly dead ringer for you. So yeah. Exactly what we should be doing. No,
Yeah,
it's
I
fun.
I prompted I use Artflow as I found it
So
is
nice.
like the
Yeah.
closest thing to get to your face. You give it like 20 images and it gets close to you. And
Mhm.
then I just told it like I want to be as American as possible. Put a flag in the background. Give me an eagle and like me I'm
Mhm.
holding a beer and like go America. It's a lot of fun, and that takes like 10 minutes to do, which is pretty hilarious. Um, all right, a little bit more on the AI boom and how do you see it affecting the affiliate and partnership environment we have going on right now?
I'm so excited to hear your thoughts on this too, Dustin, because I feel like you're kind of watching this, the space and also using all these tools. I think some of the ways in which I definitely see it affecting affiliate is in making it easier. And this is, obviously influenced by what I'm looking at and the things I'm doing day to day, but making it easier for affiliate managers to find and connect with the right people to work with. I think we're going to continue to see improvements in how that matching process takes place.
Mm,
And I think that's incredibly valuable. I know a lot of times there's an interest in finding and building relationships with the right affiliates, really zeroing in on those people who are going to move the message and be able to generate those sales. And so I think the more information, not just the more data we can get, but the better we can make that data kind of condense it into a profile and into patterns that managers can take advantage of. I
mhm.
think the better off we're going to be. So I think it's really going to help, to your point, accelerate that partnership building work. So it's
Yeah,
kind of like, all right, it's spend less time wading through names and numbers and a lot more building those relationships with people who are going to move the needle. So I think that discovery process is definitely an area where I see a lot of improvement and potential. Of course, on the affiliate side, there are tons of tools now for affiliates to kind of improve their practice.
for sure.
It's an area I'm a little less working on directly, but we come across it all the time in this industry. Folks who are helping affiliates understand their own data, generate better content, access their audiences better, use the right keywords. Like there are a lot of services and tools for the actual creator side too that I think are going to help affiliates become a lot more effective, which is great for everyone.
Absolutely. you bring up something that's very important to me and my effectiveness as an affiliate manager, as a partnership manager, is knowing the landscape of good affiliate tools out there that are going to help the affiliates you're reaching out to, because I found it super helpful for me to give suggestions to those kinds of tools that other affiliates are using right now. And that suggestion is giving me some street cred, and that suggestion is being helpful to that affiliate, who then in turn wants to reciprocate and promote my brands that I'm reaching out for in the first place. So I find it very valuable to help others out in that space, and I'm always making suggestions to tools that I think are super helpful.
Yeah, yeah, that makes a ton of sense. And I know that you are, as you say, really on the forefront of adoption and trying out new tools too,
For
which
sure.
is incredibly valuable because as you said, there's so many. One of the side effects of this boom is there are a lot of tools out there. So getting a recommendation from someone you trust, invaluable.
Yes, absolutely. And one of those tools that I think your guys' tool is super important is uh, what I call the look-alike feature. I don't know exactly what the feature is called
Mhm.
inside Everpilot. It slips my mind right now, but I like calling it a lookalike partner. If I bring you a partner and say, I want to find more like this, you guys can pound out a list of these kinds of partners out there that are similar in some kind of aspect. And I think that's like the most important and healthiest, most effective way for me to find new blood for our affiliate program. And you guys have really honed in on that functionality over at Everpilot.
Well, I think, in addition to that, one of the things I think about, Dustin, when looking at those like really winning affiliates is that, look-alike is kind of how we think about it, but really you can take that profile and you can digest it in depth and you can say, what are the themes this person talks about? How
Mhm.
often? What kind of tone do they take? How does their audience speak? You can really start to understand in a more detailed and frankly more describable way what that winning affiliate looks like. And then you can pair that with information you have about the person and what they're looking for, and you can really then bring back those people who are going to feel effective to the partner manager, because you're kind of understanding that their ideal people on that deeper level. So I think that's one of the things that's been really interesting, is just being able to look at these variety of things and say, like, this person works really well for you,
Mhm.
this is what they're doing. And then how do we think about how you could replicate that further in the space? How do you find other people who are really fitting this profile and these criteria? So it's a really interesting thing to dig into, because you're totally right. Like, one person who's fantastic is just you just want more and more of those folks.
Yes, absolutely. And that was one of those things I was really impressed by. You reached out.
Mhm.
I can't tell you how long ago. It's probably like 6 months, maybe even a year ago. And we started talking about what kind of tools do affiliate managers need. And you guys listened to what I had to say and what the industry needs and what we're looking for. And tell me about, like, how did that come about? Like, your strategy for getting this product feedback and honing in on the tool that partnership managers really need to use. How did that process come along?
It was a really interesting product discovery process. So,
Yeah.
Dustin, you run with a fair number of startups, so you're familiar with this journey, and you run, a business yourself. So there, in fact, it wasn't even 6 months. It was 6 months ago. It wasn't even a year ago. It feels like, we've been doing so much.
Yeah.
But we actually first became interested in this space. Gosh, I want to say it was in earlier this year. So we were really thinking about, and the reason that I ended up talking to you is I had reached out and said, hey, I'd love to talk to experts in this space and understand a bit more about, what are the challenges and problems that you're dealing with.
Mhm.
And we saw a lot of, we were already interested in kind of the ways in which marketing was going to evolve and storytelling was going to evolve online. And so in chatting with folks, that was when you kind of entered the picture. And we said the first stage we want to do is really gather as many insights as we can from people who work in this space to understand what the current workflow looks like and what the challenges are. So we talked to you, we talked to like several honestly fantastic people who gave us like amazing insights on just the day to day. And I think one of the clear things we heard a lot of too is that while there are a lot of tools that are available in the market, there are actually still a lot of challenges and gaps.
Yeah.
It's really hard to find a way to kind of knit those tools together in a way that works for you. You can spend a lot of time evaluating tools, not getting benefit out of them. And so we heard a lot of that. We heard a lot of this desire to really kind of what you were saying, Dustin, like cut to the heart of the relationship building part of things and really like hone in on that. And so that we heard a lot of like appetite for more information and analysis. Not just number soup, like actually meaningful insights that can help you make decisions. So it was kind of a lot of different things that we were hearing. And we came up with the strategy just because we knew that we needed to learn more about the space from people in it. And so then as we started to build out our initial idea was quite different. We actually said, we're just going to create detailed reports. We're just going to do vetting reports. And that's all it's going to be. And people can come in and give the name of an influencer and they'll get this detailed report. And as we were talking to folks like yourself, we started this beta program. We really heard that while that was helpful, a lot of times, especially in the affiliate space, you're looking at larger volumes of accounts. You want to be able to see them in a list. You want to be able to make decisions quickly about one affiliate versus another. And so we really started building out more of that interface where people could see multiple matches at a time. And so then we started moving towards this idea of, hey, instead of just the vetting, that's still available, but we actually want to do this deeper matching right up front to help you kind of,
Right.
like earlier on in the process. And that came directly out of feedback from folks like yourself. Kept those beta users, kept getting as many insights as we could, invited people to use the tool, and give us that feedback. And I feel like that's pretty, classic. Like when you're developing an early stage product like this, you just really need to learn from people who are in the space. And we were really fortunate that we were able to connect with some amazing people who just gave us such great insights right out the gate, and have been so generous with their knowledge. And so that process continues. Like I think every day, I go back to the team. It can be even like one person, but they'll send a bit of feedback in and I'll say, you know what, that makes a ton of sense. Just this past weekend, we got some great feedback from users and, we right away actioned it. Like within a day, we had turned around a couple of changes that folks had asked for, making it easier to search for people by location or making it a little easier to set up your initial campaign. Like there was so we're constantly doing that. Just really eager for that feedback. And when you're a startup, you kind of have to react quickly. So just trying to do that. That's really what it came out of. Just we needed knowledge and we needed partners. Yeah.
So, and I appreciate that as well. Like you guys have had some incredible turnaround times with some of the features that I suggested and the things I just really need to fill those gaps that I think are in this industry. And tell me more about other features out there that are helping partner managers. What else are you guys doing or looking forward to doing with your product here?
That's a great. So we have a couple of things that are on the horizon. So we've done this, discovery and matching, which is great. You can now create lists actually in Everpilot. Dustin, I don't know if you've tried making one yet, but we wanted to make it a little easier for people to manage, not just find influencers, but manage them. So you can tag your influencers. You can add influencers manually now. That was a big request we were getting. People wanted to actually add people they had in their Rolodex and get those those summaries we were producing, because we pull out a bunch of stats, as you know, and we really give you a summary of each influencer that's pretty up to date. So folks said, hey, I want to actually get that on all of the people I work with, not just the people you're finding. So that's something we've been working on, which has been great. And the next thing we're pretty excited about is we're working on creating the ability to do more detailed reporting. So right now we help with that discovery. We give you that detailed info, but we're actually building out a way for people to say, hey, I love these folks. They're in my campaign. Now, can you monitor them and give me a really nice, and you've seen our reports. I mean, I realize I'm tooting my horn here, but they're beautiful. They're easy to read. And so, we want to create reports that similarly have that mix of numbers, but also really good qualitative insight about your campaign. And so that's the next thing we're super stoked about. And then we're working on a couple things to make it easier to contact influencers. So we're kind of doing a couple of actually pilots within pilots right now, to figure out the best way to do that. Because again, I mean, we've heard contacting people is such a pain point, getting them into the right program, getting them set up.
Absolutely.
So, anything we can do to help make that easier.
Not just contacting them, but like sparking attention is a skill set that you have to develop, especially with the products you're working with. If you're an agency out there, you've got new products every 6 months that you're having to switch up and adjust that messaging, because reaching out to influencers in the health space is completely different from influencers in the SaaS space and fintech space. Like, everybody talks a different language, even though they're all affiliates or influencers. You've got to talk to them a little bit different. So that's a learned trade. Maybe that's and it's so hard for an AI tool to like do these kinds of things. And I think that's really where the AI tool is saving me time so that I can really utilize my skills from the past to be successful in these.
Absolutely. I mean, I think, there's definitely this kind of gets at like what AI can do really well and what it can't, Dustin, Like I
Mhm.
think AI can save you a lot of time. In fact, our CEO talks a lot about this idea of like proactive software. So the idea is that instead of software that waits for you to use it, it can actually like tap you on the shoulder and say, "Hey, have you thought about this?" Or "Hey, here's some more people for you." Or it's really trying to come to you. But at the end of the day, that human spark of like, "Hey," like that thing that kind of like, frankly, the way you and I met, Dustin, and immediately we're like, "Hey, this is great. Let's chat more." That human spark is really like it's where the value is for
Mm.
those of us who are people working in the space and building partnerships. And so I think where AI can really help is it can give you more information on whom to partner with, what kind of partnerships have been successful for you, what information about how that most recent partnership went, and really get you to that point of discovering that spark. And I think that's like the key, and nurturing it. And I think that's the key thing. And that's really tough. Like that's not, I mean, and I say this as someone who works in AI. I don't necessarily see that as something that AI fully does. It helps us kind of be more effective and efficient at scaling the things we're good at.
Yes. And I haven't found something to create that spark with automation yet. This is almost always a little bit of extra love and research to actually get that spark, and then condensing a message within 4 sentences that shows them the value to them and what possibilities they are to being a partner. It's a really tough gig, and I think we're moving towards it in this industry, but I also feel like there's a lot of people out there that are scared of AI and over automating in this space. And that's a pretty valid way to go about it and think about it. I think affiliate managers themselves are still 5 to 10 years away before AI really takes over that role and position. But we're getting closer every day, I feel, to like sparking that interest.
Yeah. I think that's a really good point. And I think, you started by saying the challenges of operating across different product areas, and you're totally right. Like that's where I think, if you're good at building relationships, sometimes you just need those tools to help you translate those skills to another area. Um, I know and I've talked with a lot of folks who in the partnerships management space who specialize in a particular product type. Like you said, some folks might specialize in health and wellness. Folks might specialize in like supplements. They might specialize, and all of that is really a way to deal with that. A, to deal with that challenge of switching, languages and spaces, and B, to really double down on existing relationships and
Mhm.
expertise in a particular space. And so I think there's always room for that. Like certainly we've had folks come to us and we're like, yeah, we can help you do what you're already doing, and that's totally fine. Like you want to stay in the space in the wheelhouse, that's great. I actually do think it's an area where we're learning and getting better, but I think this idea of translating expertise across spaces, I think that's something we can start to get better at, and I think AI is a valuable tool. um, I mean, I hear you on the anxiety around AI tools and over automation. I will say, I mean, I don't know if you feel this way based on the tools you've used, though, that like as some of these tools get better, it'll be harder and harder to do your job as well as somebody else if you're not at least trying to make use of the tools. That doesn't mean letting them make the decisions for you,
Yeah.
but at least being conversant and being able to understand some of that information. I mean, it's going to shift where the bar is. It
Yeah.
already is.
Yeah. 100%. And one of the best things anybody that I've ever heard from um, in this AI space is let AI help you do the things to get you to a place where you want to be in the conversation. And like, if we can automate the early stages of the outreach portion of it with an effective manner, that's going to be able to allow you to get more things done, more partnerships created. And is it nefarious or like, is it sketch? I don't think so anymore. I maybe one day I thought that maybe 3 years ago that is this is kind of sketchy that it's not a real person reaching out to another person, or me
Mhm.
pretending to be that person when it's AI doing that work. But now my thought processes shift completely. I think it is a disservice if I don't get a hold of more people and get them the opportunity to be a partner with the brands that I'm working with.
I also think what was maybe felt sketch was that it wasn't fully transparent that it was what was reaching out to you. Like,
Mm.
I think as it becomes a little more as we become more familiar with, like, people having AI assistants helping book meetings or do initial, like, messaging, people will become more familiar with how to deal with those systems. I mean, and I think that that will make it a little easier. I don't know, that's my thought on it. Because I think you're right that, like, initially, it absolutely could feel a little surprising, but we're already getting used to, like, you know, more and more of these tools being part of our workflow. Um, yeah, I don't know. That's interesting though.
Yeah, agreed. All right. As we wrap up here, tell us about Everflow. Do you guys, how do we, like, is there a free trial? Is there a price going on? How do people try out your product here?
Justin, I think you said Everflow and you meant Everpilot. Um,
Everpilot, excuse me.
no, I know. Well, this is the, lots of tools, but that's great. So Everpilot, yes. There are a bunch of different ways. We're still very much building this tool with feedback, and we love to hear from people. So what I would say is you can go to everpilot.com. You can sign up for a trial. You can book a 15-minute call with myself anytime. You can use that QR code in the corner. It's scan it. It will work perfectly. And and we're very eager to chat with folks. So, I would say also, like, you can find myself on LinkedIn. Really, I mean, the key thing is the same, but absolutely share thoughts, feedback, suggestions. I mean, Dustin, I love that you use Everpilot, but I also love that we have this conversation about how you'd like to use it more and better all the time. And I think that's the sort of thing, it's just very valuable. So, yeah, we're definitely eager to hear from folks. Give it a try for free, see what you get on your list. And, can either jump right into the subscription and or reach out to us. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Awesome. And if you want to take it for a ride, use the code Dustin and get a special discount there as well. Thank you for hooking me up with this. All right.
Absolutely.
Lastly, how do we connect with you, Anika?
Oh gosh. Well, you can follow me on Instagram at Digital Anika. That's where you'll see a lot of information about my gaming and my reading there. You can follow Everpilot app on any of the socials. And you can also find us, at our website or on LinkedIn. So yeah, excited to see you guys there and to chat further with any member of this community.
Awesome. All right. Well, it's been a real pleasure. Thank you so much for stopping by the Nerdatorium and appreciate you giving us the partnership rundown in the AI boom.
Absolutely. And I appreciate you, Destin, for being such an amazing partner to us, really from the first days of this and hopefully through many more.
Well, let's keep it rolling. All right, folks. Take care. Keep on